Hi, this is Ron Darling.
This is Skip Lockwood.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. And it has been a wonderful week. A wonderful week. 7-0 on the homestand, a perfect homestand. And this homestand had everything you could ask for. Thrilling games, 4-game sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals, 3-game sweep of our arch rival and Eastern Division rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, it had everything. Last-minute heroics, walk-off victories, great pitching, clutch pitching from the bullpen. It just had it all. This was really a great week of Mets baseball and such an entertaining and fun week to watch the sport of baseball in New York, especially. It just it goes without saying, and some of the standout players. I mean, Francisco Lindor. What can you say about him? He has been sensational. He's been hot. He had home runs against a walk-off home run in Game 2 of the series against the Cardinals. He set the tone with a leadoff homer in the final game. He consistently got on base against the Cardinals. Then the Phillies come in. He delivered 2 home runs, including a 3-run shot to put the Mets ahead 5-4 in the first game against the Phillies. He has just had a standout series here at home. Pete Alonso keeps his hot hitting streak going. Couple of home runs, couple of really clutch doubles that the Mets needed to drive in either insurance runs or tying runs. And even in today's game, he drove in the tying run. And then Starling Marte was able to get home the winning run. So great performances from Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, both at bat. He had a couple of key hits, but he's been sensational out in the field. He has made some great catches, made 2 beauties today alone, and made a couple other great catches. Took a home run away from Jordan Walker of the Cardinals a couple of days ago. He has been solid. Luis Torrens has been great with some clutch hits. Had a couple of key hits. Threw out a couple of guys. Brett Beatty starting to warm up a little bit. And how about the pitching? Kodai Senga, he had 5 2/3 scoreless innings, allowing 3 hits and extending his personal scoreless streak to 19 innings. His ghost fork pitch was particularly effective, keeping the Cardinals batter off balance, and he will open up the series against the Nationals come tomorrow, Friday night, as we record this on Wednesday evening. And Tyler McGill, another guy, pitched really well the last game, and just terrific. He had a career high 10 strikeouts in 5.1 scoreless innings. The bullpen has been great. I can't say enough. Griffin Canning even came through with a big game. Pitched well again. Number of strikeouts and really looked sharp out there. So this was a terrific display of baseball from the New York Mets, and they're just hot now, folks. They are just playing some good baseball, 7 in a row. They've got a 5-game lead in the NL East, and I'm not counting on that staying this way all season. Let's be honest. I mean, the Phillies are still a good team. The Braves are lurking. The Braves are starting to put it together a little bit, so you got to watch them. The Marlins are always tough on the Mets, as are the Nationals. So Mets are going to Washington next, so big 4-game series there. We'll see. Is it a good time? It's a good time for the Mets to play the Nationals, though, because they are so red hot that maybe it can carry over. And maybe because the Nationals are a rebuilding team, they're not the greatest team, and maybe it's a chance for the Mets to really put some distance. I mean, it would be nice, but we have seen leads fall before, so I'm not counting on anything yet, but it sure is nice to be sitting here almost at the end of April, late April, and to have a 5-game lead in the division and to have come off a sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies, our arch rival for the division lead. So Mets are really playing some good baseball, and we should all be very happy about that, and just let it hope that it keeps going. I don't see why not. You know, the pitches have been, as I said, terrific. Starting pitching, got to get a little bit more depth. Got to get a little bit more into the games, but they've consistently been going 5 2/3, 6 innings. So it's not been awful, and Mendoza has done a good job with the bullpen. He's tried to stay away from using guys 2 days in a row. It happens. He had to use a couple of guys 2 days in a row, but he has tried to balance it a little bit better this season. So far, it's been working what he's been doing because the bullpen has looked fresh. And, again, Kranick and Stanek, they have been terrific. Garrett's been terrific. All of them. Minta, Brazaban, it's come out of nowhere. And so the Mets have just been, playing some really good tight ball, good defense as well. We don't talk about that a lot, but they have been playing some good defense, and I've noticed that Pete Alonso has even been playing a better first base. He saved a lot of bad throws so far this season, and he looks more involved now. You gotta wonder, is his hitting helping his defense? There was a time at the very beginning of the season and last season where he didn't look sharp in the field. It looked like he was almost like he was letting his slacked off hitting, if you will, affect his fielding. This year I noticed a complete difference. He seems more up on everything. He's playing a better first base, and he's hitting much better, of course. He's like third or something, or second in NL in batting average, and I think he's leading the league, or tied for the lead with RBI in the National League. So he is having a fantastic April. Let's carry it on till May, and boy, it'd be great if he carried it the whole year. Maybe he'll get that longer contract. He's still not going to get like a 12-year contract or an 8-year contract, but maybe he can get a nice 5 or 6 year contract if he can continue the pace that he's going at this year. But that's all ahead of us. Right now, he is playing some terrific ball, so we'll see how that works out as the season plays out. But boy, this was quite a homestand. The fans were into it. They drew very well, which is very nice to see. And what can you say? It's hard to complain about anything that they're doing so far this season. Okay, and on the injury update front, and boy, it's almost like in a way the rich get richer, or do you not want to? You wonder sometimes, should you even bother? Not bother, but if you bring some of these guys back, is it going to affect the chemistry that's being built here? But of course, two fine players are ready to come back for the Mets. Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez are set to return from the injured list on Friday in D.C. McNeil, who of course has been rehabbing from a right oblique strain, and Alvarez, who's recovering from left hamate bone surgery, are each scheduled to appear in one final game tonight for AAA Syracuse. So long as they come out okay, no problems, no injuries, no further injuries, no issues at all. Both players will be active Friday when the Mets open a 4-game series against the Nationals in Washington, D.C. Now, I guess the obvious choices would be Hayden Senga and probably Jose Azocar would be sent down. The Mets would be loaded with outfielders then, or people they could use in the outfield. You know, they have so far Soto, Taylor, and Nimmo is pretty much the starting outfield. But you can put Marte or Winker, both outfielders. You could put them out there, spot start. You also have now McNeil coming back. He's played a lot of outfield. He could spot start out in the outfield as well, as could Acuna, and even Beatty played a few games in left field in the minor league, so he could probably go in a pinch. But no reason to send either Beatty or Acuna down right now, unless you don't think you can find playing time for them. Acuna has been terrific at second base, and he's been getting some hits. And his speed is what this team needs. But Beatty, too, has played very well as of late, and he's starting to hit now a little bit. Had a 2-run home run today, his first home run of the season. So he's starting to warm up a little bit. So it's going to be an interesting thing as we go along, how they split up the playing time. Now, of course, those two can still platoon off and on at second, and mix McNeil in the bag. And if they want to give Nimmo a day off, McNeil could play left field, and one of the Acuna or Beatty could play second base. They could give Vientos a day off and play Beatty there at third base. And they could give Taylor a day off and try either McNeil or Acuna out there, though Acuna has not played any center field this season yet. He did play a number of innings in the minor leagues last year, and McNeil has played a few games in center in the minors in his rehab assignment, so they could put him out in the outfield for a game and see how he does. They could platoon him and Taylor out there as well, and have Acuna and Beatty continue their platoon. Not really, it's not a strict platoon, because they've had Acuna's been in there against some right-handed pitchers, and don't know if Beatty's faced any lefties, not unless he came in and they came in relief. But it'll be interesting to see. And even with Alvarez, how are they going to work it out? I think it's going to be more of a 50-50 situations, as Torrens has played some good ball, and that arm of his is just sensational. So he's come up big with defensively, and in certain spots he's come up big defensively as well. So they might want to keep him there. But Paul Blackburn is he began a rehab assignment. He had a 2-inning outing for High A Brooklyn on April 19th. He'll build up from there until he needs to be activated, but has recently been delayed due to an illness. Sean Manaea, he received a platelet-rich plasma injection on March 31st, as we've told you about, an encouraging follow-up on MRI on April 14th. He resumed throwing on that day, but remains limited to flat ground work for the time being. Frankie Montes has been throwing off of flat ground since early April, but won't progress to mound work until the end of the month. And then he will need a full spring training style buildup once he's recovered completely and is okayed on all of that. So that is the injury update for this week. Let us take a break, and we'll be back with some minor league news, and there's a ton of that as well.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com.
And now it's time to go down on the farm. All right, and the farm report this week, here it is. Last Thursday night, Dylan Ross threw the hardest pitch by a Cyclones hurler in 2025 at 100.9 miles per hour. In fact, he has thrown the 16 hardest pitches by a Cyclones pitcher this season. So really getting up the heat there for young Mr. Ross. Jet Williams has been steady pretty much for the AA Binghamton Rumble Ponies since opening day, but this past week he's elevated his game. The 21-year-old extending his hitting streak to 5 games. In a game this week, he tripled for a second consecutive contest and collected a season-high 3 hits. His average is now at 292. He swiped a pair of bases, had 2 RBIs, and scored 2 runs. The 3rd consecutive game in which he's crossed the plate twice, all happening this week. So Jet Williams is warming up. Syracuse Mets Blade Tidwell, he had an impressive performance, allowing just 1 run over 5 innings while striking out 5 batters in his last start. Joey Meneses is hitting well. He went 3 for 4, 2 doubles. Luke Ritter continues his hot hitting, and Syracuse is on a roll. We'll talk about their standings in just a minute. Over at Binghamton, we talked about Jet Williams. Jonah Tong has he pitched 2 scoreless innings with 3 strikeouts in a game this week. He has struggled a little bit with control in the AA, so we'll have to keep an eye on that after a sensational year last year. little control issues, but he is moving up. It's a big jump from high A to double A. So, but this he's 21, 22. He's got a lot of talent, and I'm sure they'll work on it and get that settled. Let's see. Brooklyn continues to play a pretty good baseball. Carson Bange has been hitting well. Eli Serrano III is also another guy that's continued his hot hitting and playing tight defense. St. Lucie's been playing some good ball. Prospect Jeremy Rodriguez is a guy to watch. He posted a 282 line in 50 games with the Florida Complex League Mets last year, and is anticipated to do the same in St. Lucie, and you could see him even in Brooklyn by midseason if he continues his progress. And speaking about the Florida Complex League Mets, they are set to begin their season on May the 3rd. The Dominican Summer League, the Mets blue and orange teams, will play later in the summer. So the Florida Complex League is ready to get started in just another 10 days or so. So we'll add that on to the list. Now let's look at the standings of the Mets affiliates this week. Got them written down right here. Syracuse is 10-13, sixth place, 6.5 games back. That's going into tonight's game. Tonight's game's not included. 10-13 for the Syracuse Mets. The Binghamton Rumble Ponies, they're 8-6. In third place, they're 1 game back of first in their division. Brooklyn is 10-6, third place in their division, 2.5 games back, and St. Lucie is 10-7 in second place, and a half game out of the division lead. So that is your recap of the minor leagues for the past week, and it's good to see the teams are all pretty much playing well. Syracuse is under 500. All the other teams so far are above 500 and in the race, and we'll see, how it goes along as the season progresses, and how guys move up or down. That's the one thing. So if people in New York, if you want to see Carson Bange and Boston Barrow and Eli Serrano III and Jacob Raymer, perhaps you got to get to Brooklyn before they get promoted to Binghamton. It's a lot easier to get to Brooklyn, I think, for a lot of people, though if you live upstate, of course, Binghamton may be easier for you. But if you want to see those guys, get to Brooklyn before they get promoted, because that's what's happens. Players move up and down the system, and that's what you want. You want to get your top guys to the top level and eventually get them to the major leagues. And now let's take a look at the Washington Nationals. With that series coming up, they hold currently a 10-13 record. They're in fourth place in the National League East. They're 7 games behind the Metsies going into this. Despite a challenging start, the team has shown some signs of progress. In the offseason, they made a lot of acquisitions. They added Nathaniel Lowe at first base, and pitcher Michael Soroka, who brings depth to their rotation, though they have yet to name any of the starting pitchers for their rotation for the series against the Mets. So we'll see who they're going to pitch. We don't know. The Nationals are still in a rebuilding phase, but they're always a tough team for the Mets. and they have a lot of young talent like James Wood and Dylan Cruz. And with some veteran leadership, they have a hopeful outlook for the remainder of the season, and they're going to be pesky. So, you can't take them lightly. And as I said, no probable pitches yet for the Washington Nationals, but the Mets look like this. They'll be throwing. Cody Senga goes on Friday. Clay Holmes will be pitching Saturday's game. Tyler McGill on Sunday, and Griffin Canning on Monday. And that is the probable pitchers for the New York Mets in the upcoming series with the Washington Nationals. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, please hit the subscribe or follow button. And you can leave a comment to let us know, anything, how we're doing with the show, any suggestions to change the show around or whatever, anything at all like that, just let me know. And we'll be glad to look into it. And so remember, until the next time, to keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. And I'm Gary Mack, and I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.